Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the fourth annual Bahamas Bowl, which will be played tomorrow here at the National Stadium at 12:30 in the afternoon. We have several guests here today, including both teams, Ohio and UAB, their head coaches and their student athletes. So at this time, I want to introduce our table for the first part of this. Richard Giannini, who's the executive director of the Bahamas Bowl. Ohio head coach Frank Solich, Ohio quarterback Nathan Rourke, and Ohio linebacker Quentin Poling. So at this time, we'll start with the executive director of the Bahamas Bowl, Richard Giannini.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate everyone being out here this morning, and we're really looking forward to the events in the next 2 days. First of all, on behalf of ESPN and Pete Durgis, who's Senior Vice President of our division, and he's over all of college programming, I want to welcome everybody and thank you for being here. We're really pleased to have the two teams, Ohio and UAB. We've got outstanding programs, great records. We've got coaches that are the best in the country, and they've been down here since Monday, and our slogan is Bowls are better in the Bahamas, and I hope that you all enjoyed it. So
yeah,
I see some smiles, so we're really pleased about that, and it's been a great week. How can you beat the weather down here? It's just it's beautiful, and things at the Atlantis have been terrific. And yesterday they visited the Rand Furley Children's Home, and then we had a youth clinic out here at the stadium, and that went very well. And we really appreciate the support that we've gotten here in the community. The two ministries, the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Youth, Sport, Culture, have been just terrific to work with, and you'll meet some of their folks in a minute. I really want to thank, I'd be remiss if I really don't thank our staff. I feel like we've got a tremendous bowl staff, and you know, it starts with Lee Miller, who you'll have a chance to hear from later, but Lee was involved in founding this game and runs the Battle for Atlantis basketball tournament, and she and I together run the football game, and she is Miss Bahama. She comes from the United States, as you all know, but she basically lives down here, and she's brought a tremendous amount of sporting events here and tremendous exposure back to the United States, of particularly of college football and college basketball. We also have Chris Pica, who's right beside me, who's been with us all 4 years, does a great job. I've got a new young man from ESPN in Charlotte, and Max Berglis over here that helps me a lot. And the person we got to really give kudos to is Tom Snyder. And Tom comes from the University of Central Florida and brings his game day crew down here every year. And they've been here about a week, a little over a week, and they've transformed this stadium to make it look beautiful, the field paintings, and they really work hard. And we run a game just like a game would be run in the United States, and without Tom and his crew from Central Florida, it would really be difficult. So I really appreciate the staff, because without them, this game would not happen. And so I do kudos for them, because they're the best. Just want to talk a little bit about tomorrow as far as the Bahamians' involvement. We're very pleased to have, for the fourth year in a row, the Bahamian All-Star Band will be here, and they'll do the pregame, and they'll also be in the tailgate function and before the game. This will be the first year that the Bahamas Royal Police Band will perform, and they'll perform at halftime. And we're excited to see them. And I know all the fans coming from the United States, from UAB and Ohio, will really enjoy seeing those two bands perform. And then we've got Junkanoo Band, Brian Adderley from the Valley Boys, and I think he picks up some of his friends from some of the other groups to participate. But they're going to be out here in the tailgate, and they'll also, between the first and second quarter, they're going to do a Bahamian Junkanoo rush coming down the track on the west side of the stadium. So everything's set for a great game, and I know you're tired of hearing me, and I want to go ahead and turn it over to the most important people of why we're playing this game, and that's because of student athletes and coaches. Without them, we wouldn't have a game. So we're really pleased to have you all with us and look forward to a great game tomorrow.
Richard, thank you very much. Our matchup again in 2017, as it was the first 3 years, is Conference USA versus the MAC. And the MAC team that's representing is the Ohio Bobcats, who finished 8-4 this season, 5-3, and the MAC had winning streaks of 4 in 3 games over the course of the season. They score a lot of points. They had 6 games of 40 or more points to set a school record this season, and they have a tremendous tandem of players who have combined for over 1,600 rush yards. So I know that Coach Frank Solich and his crew will be ready to go tomorrow afternoon here at the stadium, and so we'll begin with an opening statement from Coach.
Yes, thank you very much. Really appreciate being here, obviously. Thanks to Richard, Lee, Chris, you, and everybody else associated with the bowl. It's been great. This gives an opportunity to a lot of players, a lot of coaches on our staff who have never been down here, and their families. And so it's opened up a whole new ball game for all of us, and we certainly appreciate this opportunity. In my history of coaching, I've been to an awful lot of bowls, and I think you do a great job here, and it's second to none in terms of hospitality. I think you got the right amount of activities for the players, and yet allow them free time. And if you're going to have free time, where would you rather have it than at the Atlantis property? So we're very thankful for being here. We hope to put on a great show.
All right, so our first question for the players before we talk a little bit of football. What has been the best part of your week here in the Bahamas? What have you guys enjoyed? What have you guys had a chance to do?
Water slides. Big on the water slides. So just getting around the resort, experiencing the water park, things like that, that's probably been my favorite part.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta piggyback on that. You know, the resort's amazing, as Coach mentioned, and there's just so many things that we're allowed to do, and yeah, it's been great, everything of it.
All right, we'll turn towards the football game itself, Coach. Talk a little about your team and what fans would expect tomorrow here at the stadium.
Yeah, you know, I really like our football team. It's been a team that I think prepared all year long for the season. They've shown great leadership during the off season as well as during the season. And as a coach, you appreciate what leadership can bring to your team. You know, we've played really well in stretches, and I think coming into the last couple ball games of the year, we had positioned ourselves very well in terms of conference play. We did not get it done in the last couple ball games, and I know we don't feel good about that, and so we hope to bounce back and have a great game against UAB, who we know is a excellent football team, well coached, a lot of really good athletes.
All right, we'll open up for questions. We'll start with our good friend John Mark.
I mean, Coach, you could just talk about what you're used to playing right now in this cold weather. Now you have to do any worries about maybe dehydration or kind of things during the game?
Yeah, not really. You know, you say that, and then something can come back to haunt you. But I think we've prepared really well for it. We do have an indoor facility. We weren't able to crank it up heat-wise inside to certainly simulate what we have here, but we've started hydrating quite some time ago, and our guys have been great about that. And so I think we'll adjust to the conditions as well as anybody will adjust to it.
Coach, how do you keep you guys focused knowing that you're also playing in paradise and the game's more important?
Yeah, you know, we took the stance that you can have fun and win a bowl game, and so that's what we came down here to do. Certainly wanted to give our players some free time and let them get around, see the resort. Obviously, an awful lot to do, an awful lot to see. As you get closer to the game, there's got to be some balance there, and I think our guys have done a great job of that. You know, now we're starting to get off our legs, resting for the game and staying out of the sun, staying out of the water. And so I think we've got the right plan to have a good deal of energy when the game kicks off.
John, for fans, favorite fan out of Atlanta, Georgia, can you guys all talk about just seeing the fans here? Because I know I traveled with a group of fans and talked to them on flights, and it was just interesting to see how people rearrange their holiday schedule to be here to have a moment in paradise with you guys for college football. So talk about that.
Obviously, it's really goes to show the support that the programs have, that you have so many families that came out from both sides, and you can really tell that in the resort. And you know, it's a little bit easier when you're coming to a place like this to come down and watch. But yeah, the support's been great, and we can definitely feel it from our fans, and we can see that UAB's brought a good following as well.
Like Nathan said, the resort's just full of fans and family members, you know, alumni from both schools. So I think everyone's happy to be here and have a nice little getaway. So it'll be a good game.
Good.
With from a football stance, last two games have really where you guys wanted. How important is it to leave your football career at Ohio and get that full trophy?
It's very important. I mean, when I'm looking back on my career, I think the last game is going to be the one that sticks out most obviously. Talking to Dak Notestein, our strength coach, he played at Ohio and ended his career in a bowl game that didn't go very well for them, and he constantly reminds us that we don't want to look back on our career and think about it and just have that be the last memory like he did. So having someone who really went through it all, you know, firsthand and really in our shoes just a couple years ago has been a good reminder for us.
Good.
Okay, one more question for Coach. So how have you guys prepared in practice for UAB?
Well, you know, we at home, we got around 7 or 8, maybe 9 practices in before we came down. We wanted to get all the heavy work done at home, and as Richard, I heard him use the phrase or use the words polish, and that's kind of what we're doing down here, is polishing up for the game. You know, so we tried to make sure that there was some conditioning early on, and then as we got closer to the game, not as much conditioning. You know, you're not going to bring a team down here for 4 evenings and expect to all of a sudden have them conditioned to the heat. You know, all you'll do is wear them out. So, so we didn't try to over-condition them here. Our practices, we had one practice that was a regular length practice. We did not pad up at all down here except for helmets. Yesterday was a walkthrough. Today is what we call a fast Friday, but it's a Thursday actually now. But it has worked well for us in the past, and we hope that it works well again, and that we have great energy. These guys came through finals during that time also, which if you can recall, some of you may be going through finals and how draining that can be, you know, and so that was a test for our guys. We had limited practices, but we did have a few when finals were going on.
Question for Nathan. I know you guys love to run the football. You've had a tremendous year scoring touchdowns, which is somewhat rare for a quarterback to do what you've done. What's been the key to your offense this season?
It's been a combination of things. You can't really put it on one thing, but first of all, our offensive line is very experienced. They've got a lot of reps and really allowed both our our running backs and myself to really, get to some open lanes and expose some holes in the defense, and that's just a compliment to them. And then it's a combination of balancing the run and the pass, and when you can do both at pretty efficiently, it's kind of hard for a defense to stop, and so we kind of feel like when we can get both of them going, that we're going to be a pretty hard offense to stop.
This defense has 14 interceptions on the season. Darius Williams himself, he has 5. Is this secondary one of the toughest challenges that you faced over the course of the year?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have some really good players. They have a really good defense. I don't know if you can just say their secondary. Their defense is very well-rounded and very well coached. You can tell that throughout the games because obviously we've watched them, and they do some really good things, and they do a lot of great things and a lot of good different looks. And so we're going to really have to figure out you know, what they're going to do against us and what their game plan is, and figure it out and then adjust and move forward in that regard.